I'm still sick like crazy, but I got my coffee and I got my daughter and she's not sick anymore. So today I'm going to make a video. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to BoBeats. Today I'm going to do a short tutorial showing you how I've had my Novation circuit set up to run alongside my Maschine Studio. A special shout out to John Chester over at the Novation Circuit Owners Forum over at Facebook for giving me the idea to do this video. But before we can start, we have the sip of the coffee. Good as always, you know, black, no funny business. Alright, so the first step is to connect the Maschine Studio with the Midi output into the Midi input of the circuit. Now it's very important that you know what output you're using, because you will have to enable two things in the software. So let's take a look inside the software. Inside the software, you have to check Send Midi Clock. But it's also important that you go into Audio and Midi settings and that you check Midi and outputs so that the Maschine Studio's ports are enabled, or at least the ports that you're using. So for example, if I use Maschine Studio port 1 and it's off, it means that it won't send anything. So we have the Maschine Studio set up with Midi to the circuit, and we have enabled Send Midi Clock, as well as enabled the output number 1. If everything's set up correctly, you should be able to press tempo on the circuit and it should say syn. The circuit acknowledges that it's now a slave to the studio. So if I press play, you will now hear the circuit playing in the tempo of the Maschine Studio. So, how is this useful? Well, for example, if I play a drum groove on the Maschine Studio here. This setup means that if you're on the first scene in Maschine, you can always use the shift record, and the circuit will start when the countdown has finished. If you, however, go into scene 2 and do the same thing, it will start before the count-in has finished. I don't really know why, I'm not that technical, but that's how it is. So, I usually leave scene 1 for recording the circuit, and then I just move the patterns over to different parts of the song. So now I have a drum groove going on the Maschine Studio. Now I want to add synths from the circuit. Now we have the Maschine and Novation running side by side. But what if I want to record the circuit into the Maschine? Well, I just go into the sampling menu, I choose source external, input, the corresponding input that the circuit is connected to my sound card. For me it's input 2. So, what I will do now is I will choose a length. I will choose 4 bars on the Maschine Studio, and then I will play the Novation circuit during record, using the knobs to get some kind of variations. Now I have a loop inside of Maschine Studio, and I can just go into sampling here and edit and make sure that the start and end of the loop are nicely trimmed. Click apply, boom, we got a loop. And voila, we have an audio file working in tandem with whatever is on the machine as well. from here, I usually just start jamming away on the circuit, adding different drums, variations, trying different synth sounds, and then I record everything as audio into the Maschine Studio and just build it from there. And I usually export it sound by sound or track by track into Cubase 8 Pro for some final mixing. So this was my tutorial on machine and circuit setup and how to make them play along nicely. Now I know there's a lot of different ways you can do this, but this is a kind of a way that I like and it works well for my workflow. So if you like these kinds of videos, give a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and comment down below if you have any questions. So have a nice day.